What's happening, guys? Harriset here, and this is going to be another episode of the Learn to Play series. In this episode, we're going to be looking at some 2v2 with a rogue hunter from my perspective, which is the rogue. And what I want to go over in this one is tactics, and I also want to go over just some, incorporation of the previous videos. I want to get people in to try think about the situational awareness video, mixing in rogue damage video, and see if we can combine them with some tactics into 2v2 and get some practice in there and throw up your rating and trying to coordinate with your teammate and doing some communication and so forth. But to kick this one off, I'm just picking up now. I only met this hunter today, so it's not like we've been playing a long time. There's a few errors that are made in these videos, which is good because I get to show you some errors and how to fix them. Bad because of the fact it's not going to show really pro play. But we will try. We will get there, and I'll show you after playing a few games together that I start showing this guy how to really focus on how the setup can work really well together, and we can progress and really kick the crap out of some good rated teams and keep good pressure up. And coordinate in CC chains and so forth. So this first clip now I'm going to jump into straight away, and we are up versus, it's actually a druid and a rogue, and this setup normally it should be okay for us to kill, because the rogue, as I know, is very easy to kill if they're caught with their pants down. In this case, we catch the rogue out in the opener and we start putting immediate pressure. Now our goal right now is to get the druid out of stealth and to get him under control. Okay, so this was the tactic that we come up with. Our basic tactic when we walked into this was to control druid, kill rogue. Simple as that. So how are we going to control this? Well, the first thing, turned around and I asked him before we started this match was, do you want to open with blind? Now, I asked this because of two reasons. One, it'll force the trinket. And if it doesn't force the trinket, he's going to follow up into a sap, and his rogue is probably going to die anyway, unless the rogue blows cooldowns and waits it out. This is smart play by both of them if they do this. However, he's against the hunter, so the hunter can put dots up on the rogue, and I can put physical effects on the rogue. So the fact that we caught the rogue means that he's going to be in trouble, and I'm going to put a bleed up on him to make sure that he can't get into a re-stealth, and that's my first priority, is to get a bleed up into him. Now, we just seen the druid come into focus, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to call on the hunter to get control on the druid, and the hunter's just going to use scatter shot and trap him, to which we can then start to follow up the CC chain and see how much pressure we can keep up all the time. So as the game goes on, immediately he turns around, he goes to scatter trap him, the rogue vanishes and then tries to open up then on the hunter with a lot of cooldowns. And this is okay tactic if the hunter was under control, but he picked the wrong target here. His best target would be to go for me, because he can actually destroy me pretty easily if he can focus his cooldowns on me with control rather than trying to blow them into a hunter. Because a hunter has the ability called Bestial Rat, which will actually allow him to remove his stuns without actually using his trinket. And this is powerful information for a rogue in general. To never really, unless you want to force the Bestial Rat, I would suggest opening differently, maybe with a Garrote, even though to stop his traps. Silence actually affects his traps, so it'll stop his traps, and you can also put additional damage up if the time is that case. So we continue on. The rogue is putting pressure, so I'm going to lock him down with the remaining of cheap shot that I have and disengage. Now, what happens here is that the moment the druid trinketed from that trap, I immediately blinded him. And I'm going to go back here just a little bit, and I'm just going to show this in slow motion to see what happened and how we can fix this. So after that blind, now if we watch the Gladius button there, you'll see that alright, the trap was still on him. He had 6 seconds left on the trap and he trinketed fast. This is a good reaction. You want to do that and not wait 5 or 6 seconds, but at the same time his rogue was under a lot of pressure, so he felt he had to trinket to get out of this trap and try immediately heal his rogue, which he did. However, the moment he got out of that trinket, he went straight into a blind. Now this is reactionary time that comes with experience, guys. I can't turn around and say you're going to be able to do this straight off the bat. Most players are still working on the situational awareness in that you will be able to know when he's going to trinket. Now, I kind of knew this guy was going to trinket. I knew he had to trinket because if he didn't, his rogue was probably going to be dead within a couple of seconds, or he was going to get sapped or followed up with some other chain CC. Either way, if he trinketed, he has a chance to get it instant off. However, I was exceptionally fast with this, which it's not something I do all the time. But in this case, I seen it coming, so I seen the trinket because he was right in my view, and I immediately cast blind off that. And as you can see, I have the 8-second blind. Normally he would sit this. However, if we look at this frame here and up close, what's happened is that the rogue has vanished, and my hunter has switched to targeting the druid, and his auto attack shot immediately breaks my blind, which allows this guy to freely heal. Now, what can you do to prevent that? Well, if we jump in here, I'm just gonna quickly jump away from the game for a second and have a show you this. This is a common occurrence, and don't blame this hunter, guys. This is a very common issue, and he's actually really a good player. So I'm not gonna allow this one mistake, or don't allow this one mistake to be like, oh my god, you suck. That would be horrible, because we actually do end up winning this match. So. Based on how we picked up after this. Now this is just an error. So if we go into our menu there and we open up the interface, what we can do is we can go to our combat section, and under the combat section we have this little button that says stop auto attack. And pretty much what that does is it stops auto attacking whenever you tab targets. And it's kind of important to have that disabled when you're in PvP. Not so much in PvE, because it could probably keep your DPS uptime by about 5.5 seconds or something like that, depending. But you can always set a macro around this to auto attack your tab target just by pressing one of your primary abilities. If you want to start auto attack, you can actually macro that into one of your primary abilities and make it a bit easier, so that you have complete and utter control over when you are attacking the target and when you are not. So I highly recommend disabling that, so stuff like this wouldn't happen. Okay, so following that blind break, I got a little bit disorientated. I was wondering why the blind broke, you know, and then I took a blind myself. I could have re-stealthed here. As we go back onto the rogue, now it's still my kill target, and the druid is in tree form, so right now he's pretty much out of play, and we can just kind of just try to control at this point until we can get diminishing returns down on the druid and then start to control him. Now as you can see, trap now is timing out. The rogue turns around and puts down a smoke bomb to prevent any incoming damage from the hunter, while trying to obviously range him down with shuriken toss. But the hunter then reacts to that by putting an explosive trap onto the position of both of them to try to get them out of there, but they run away from that, and I don't think they get hit. But however, all diminishing returns are now off on the druid. So what my goal now is to get a re-stealth so we can lock down the rogue and get a kill at this point, because now they have no cooldowns. They have used their vanish, they have used their trinkets, and they have used their defensive, bark skin and everything else to protect his rogue. So I'm trying to go for a re-stealth. He just quickly disarms me, and I turn around, get into line of sight to stop them putting any dots up on me, go around, get the trap off, and then we immediately start pushing in a lot of pressure into the rogue. I smoke bomb him here to try to secure the kill, make sure that the druid can't get any control off or any instant cast off, and the hunter just secures that anyway by putting the silence up, and we get the win fairly swiftly on that one. This next clip I'm just going to follow up on how the control, if actually played really perfectly, can absolutely take over a team. So what we're up against now is we have ourselves a Demo Lock and a Shaman, and it's a healer Demo Lock, and it's a very, very strong comp, and that most targets are generally very unkillable. But we decide that we can't really kill a Warlock, especially a Demonology Walk, fairly swiftly. He'll blow some cooldowns and then he'd be fine for a long time. So we want to kill the Shaman, and this is what we do. We open up immediately with a sap on the Warlock. We're going to control him. Now I want you to take big focus on the timers. So after that control, he gets straight into his scatter trap, and that trap he trinkets into a blind. And I mean, this whole time we're also doing a lot of control on the Shaman. Well, I'm keeping him kicked and locked down in the stun timers. So we had so much control in the opening of the fight that these guys could not really do very much, and they could fall over, and that makes this comp, so to speak, Rogue Hunter, pretty overpowered when you learn it like that. And it can do that to a lot of teams, and it's probably why it took Cleve in 3v3 is really strong. But I'll stop there for this episode, guys. I hope there was some information and useful tips there on 2v2 on how you can do it with a rogue, just maximizing your cooldowns and some damage and control, and mixing it in with different classes. I'll probably go over some more classes in the future. And I might even do a compilation video of these clips that I've been picking up over the course of time, if people are interested in that, with some music, so you can see some really good play and try to learn from that too. I hope this was useful. Thank you for watching, guys. Of course, I will see you next time.